Oops, I did it again.
I played with your trailer. I took
got the
everything
renovation bug.
out.
We're so crazy and stupid. Yeah.
Oops. So I am ripping out the carpet today because I painted the interior of the slide. And I always take my renovation projects 10 steps further than they need to go.
Really?
I do.
You do?
I do. Hey, so I am just trying to take the carpet out of the trailer. Just kind of a last minute. I'm just painting right now and I just want to see how difficult it is. So I just took my little razor blade. I'm just going along the carpet's edge. I just kind of started in the middle, that way I don't have to deal with any seams because I wasn't sure if there was a padding or anything under it, because I know some RVs do have padding under their carpet. Our travel trailer does not. So I'm just taking it, I'm pulling it up to make sure I don't cut the insulation underneath it, because I want to lay some vinyl planks and I don't want to harm. I think that's insulation. I'm assuming it is. But I'm not positive, but whatever it is, I don't want to cut it. So I'm just running it along, and there's little carpet tacks that I'm just pulling up. So this is the edge of the carpet that's tucked under the vinyl. I'm going to take my razor blade, similar to what I did on this top portion, and cut along here. But again, I'm going to try not, I'm picking it up and I'm pulling. Sorry that glare, I took off all the blinds last night, so I can't help that. I'm going to stick my finger in and pull up. That way I'm hopefully, and I'm going to cut on the other side and not away from my finger. Hopefully avoiding if it has the similar underlayment, but I don't think that's going to be avoidable. Just kind of need to stab it. See what's under there. See what I see? I see some nice vinyl floor all the way through. Woohoo! So it looks like it's actually glued to the floor, is what I'm kind of seeing. So I'm just going to try to slowly dissect this. That way, if it is glued, I can scrape it up. If it's just tacked, I can just pull it up. But I just want to make sure I don't accidentally cut the vinyl at all, because I'm going to try to find, I really like the vinyl that's in here. I don't mind it at all. I just don't like the carpet. So I'm going to try to find a close enough match to this current vinyl in a plank form just to continue it through. There's going to be a little bit of color difference, what's the word I'm looking for, Miller? I don't know, color difference between the two, because they're not going to be the same brand, but you know, throw a rug down and I think it'll be close enough because it's a pretty generic color. Even actually the vinyl that we have, the high-end vinyl planks that we have in our current house, look, and my baby just tried to eat something. Shouldn't have babies in construction areas, you know. You're okay. It's okay. I just don't want you to choke. Okay. And I like it a lot. So would you believe, a week ago, we were all packed and ready to go. And then on a whim, I decided that I no longer wanted this carpet because I don't have a proper vacuum to vacuum it, and I want to make sure that the floors are clean, and I like to mop every night because I have two little ones that crawling, eating everything off the floor, so I just like it to be clean. So I just ripped this up, took a knife, sliced into it so I could get my hand under it, and look, it goes all the way through, I'm hoping. So let's rip this out and see. Probably should be wearing gloves, but I'm not, because I never do things like they're supposed to be done. But what can you do?
Alright, so here's the moment of truth. I cut out my subfloor and I gotta see if it fits now. Alright, so I'm about halfway through with laying the wood floor down, or the vinyl planks already. It's taken about 5 minutes, which has been really nice. So when Becca first took out the carpet, it had kind of this sealed padding that was underneath the carpet, and it was a little bit too cushy for my liking to put underneath the vinyl planks. So I wanted to put down an underlayment just to give it some, to make sure that there wasn't any dips, or to give it a nice hard surface to be underneath this. So we put down just this 1/4 inch underlayment here. I just got a couple sheets at Home Depot and cut them to size and laid them down. Just put a few screws in them to hold them in place, and then duct tape the seams just to make the transition a little bit easier. Because they're so thin, they don't really sit completely flush. So the duct tape, I think, just helps a little bit to hold everything in place and make an easier transition. So I started laying down the vinyl planks, and Becca had a great idea. She realized that the couch that we put in here is going to cover up any seams that we have in the planks, so there's really no need to stagger them because they're always going to be covered up. So instead of cutting and figuring out how we want to stagger everything, we're just going to run one line down right down the center. And then I literally hardly have to cut anything because these line up perfectly with just 2 planks deep on each one. So far this has been really, really easy. And the one concern I have is about the edge of the slide here, because it slopes down. So there's at the edge of this is a bit of a weak point. So we're going to get all the flooring down, and then I think I'm going to figure out how to put something underneath here to support it before we put the edge trim on. And then we'll put some 1/4 round trim around the edges and we'll be done. The most difficult part now is going to be just getting the trim on. And like I was saying earlier, I'm a little concerned about this gap right here, because there's about 3 inches or so that it starts sloping down, and this is going to be kind of a weak point. So I'll put trim in there, but this will still flex quite a bit, and I'm a little worried about that. So I think I'm going to get just a little, maybe a 1/4 inch bead of wood that I can run all along underneath there just as an extra support, and I think that'll do the trick. So the floor is done for the most part except for the trim. That went really, really well, especially for a guy like me putting this in. This is idiot proof. I just woke up Miller, he was napping. Yeah, I mean, this probably took maybe 2 hours. If I really knew what I was doing, it probably would have taken 30 minutes. It was really, really simple. So Anyways, you can tell it's a little bit different color, but it's about as close as we could get. And this is actually the stuff that we already had a box of left over from putting in our house. And it's also way more durable than that stuff, and it's waterproof. So we thought this would be perfect to put in here. So we already had one leftover box. We had to buy one more box. We got it for half off, for like 40 bucks. So basically, we paid 40 bucks for this floor, and then just the work that it took to do it. So I'm really happy about that. Like we said earlier, we have just one big seam down the middle, and it really doesn't matter because the couch is going to be covering that up. So it looks kind of funky as it is right now, but we're not going to see it. So yeah, I got to figure out the trim still, and we got to stain and put in the quarter round trim on the edges. Okay, and lastly, I had to install the corner trim. So this is a 1x1 corner trim that I bought and stained to try to get as close to a match as I could. So I got a little dowel to expand the whole length of the slide and put that underneath, and then nailed it down just to keep it in place, and that is just giving the extra support underneath the edge of that floor. And then just attached the corner trim and nailed it down. And I'm an amateur at this, but I think I made my corners decent. And then I put on the just some quarter round trim around the backside. Yeah, and you'll notice that there is a bit of a gap right on the edge here, but this whole thing flexes when the slide comes in and out. Like, it moves up and down quite a bit. So I didn't want to fill this all in to be exact, because as soon as we push the slide in or out, it's going to crack or mess up whatever we have going there. So I would just be wary of that when you're doing your measurements and deciding how close to get that corner on. So that is the finished product, and for never doing anything like this before, I'm pretty darn happy with how it turned out.
I just came home to work on the trailer and paint, and I am locked out of the house because I grabbed the one set of keys that doesn't have a house key on it. So I just checked all the doors, and all the doors are locked, but I did see this window is like this much open. Kid must have opened it and not closed it all the way, so I'm going to try to break it.